people and says, wow, that's the kind of aura I'd like to reflect. And thankfully, that education allowed me to take it much forward going further in my journey. But I give a lot of credit to that lifestyle. 9 schools in 16 years of education. I wonder how many can beat me at that. That's what happens in the lifestyle where your father just gets getting posted every 3 years. But going further, I did my bachelor's in biotechnology, master's in clinical research, and I had an opportunity to work in Johnson & Johnson and Avgen Health, like just put it across. So it's been a great journey. But it often occurs to people, Mira, you're talking about doing something in healthcare, and now you're talking about communication. How does this happen? So, there are these times in life where you get like a big bump on your head, and it's like the universe telling you were meant to do something else. Like you're good at this, but there's a bigger world out there that you can explore. So I'm so grateful that I found an opportunity to say that I have something inherent that I could go out and pass to people, and that's called the ability to bring in a little personification, helping people realize that what is that inner potential that they're not pulling out, especially when it comes to their presence and it comes to the way they communicate. I started off my journey by being an by being an etiquette and grooming trainer, just like Jasmeet said. But now it's been 8 years, and altogether, it occurred to me that when I'm talking about etiquette and grooming, I'm only touching the surface level. I'm telling people how to dress well. I'm telling people how to have your great first impressions. I'm telling people how to dine well. I'm telling people how to taste wine. And somewhere again, there was a missing part where if I'm training the person to create a great first impression, something goes amiss to be able to sustain it. And if that sustaining journey isn't really working, I felt my work isn't done yet. And that's where I had the opportunity to go much deeper into understanding what does it take for people to connect to the other person at a very deeper level, at a very foundational level, so that the connection is intensely genuine. The purpose of the connection is met. What I meant is the communication happens in order. And so that's the line I chose. So today I'm an impact communication coach, and my intention here in this session, in this workshop, is to be able to see how can I make a difference today in the way you look at communication, how you relate to it, how you even intently or unintently use it. And could today's session start to shift the way you look at communication as a daily tool? So without going into too much of other descriptions, allow me to jump into the subject today. I coach participants in being able to communicate with impact. And many a times the regular thing that participants say is, Mira, get me to speak impactfully. Get me to speak in a way that people stop and listen. Get me to be able to communicate in that boardroom when there's a difficult negotiation happening. Get me to get the right words. You know how to get the right words. Do that. And that is quite a number one concern that a lot of us have. Just get the right words in the right moment and say the right thing, and then it all rolls out. So this is the moment I want to call your attention. We focus so much on the right and the apt words to speak when it comes to communication. I'd like you to now go 2 steps back and start to see that where do my words really come from? And for that, I'm going to make you go the steps back into your thought level. Where do the words originate is from a thought level. And when we can figure out what's happening at the thought level, your ability to stream out words automatically improves. How? We're going to see this in a very simple, logical way, which I'm going to show you in a set of slides. So allow me to start sharing. I'm going to be sharing my slides here. Give me a thumbs up, Jasmeet, if you can see a set of 5 different colored chairs. Thank you. Thank you. So what you can see here on the screen right now is a set of 5 different chairs, and I'm going to be taking you through a journey of understanding how each chair represents us at a thought level. Jumping directly to the first chair, the red chair. Now with the red chair, you'll notice it is represented by the animal jackal, and it has literally the title called Attack. Now this chair I will talk about after I describe why I'm representing it with this animal. If you understand the characteristic of this animal, it's a very, very sharp animal, extremely smart, very focused, has the ability to react, respond in seconds. The deal about this animal is that it is always ready to pounce. It's always ready to attack. And that's precisely why this animal has been chosen to represent this chair. So what I'm saying is, whenever in conversation, whether spoken or at a thought level, if you can catch that the conversation in your head or here is it judging somebody? Is it blaming somebody? Is it critical of somebody? Is it an extremely hard opinion about somebody? The favorite game of this chair is who's right? There's something right about this and there's something wrong about this. So the minute you catch phrases like, how dumb of him, the minute you see yourself putting a label on somebody, or you say something like, that was horrendous, you again put a label. So the ability to identify that you're speaking and communicating from this chair is to start to identify the labels you put on people to describe them. And knowing that these labels are your description, not the written truth anywhere, completely your perception. And if you could identify that, that gives you so much more power to really see, do I want to speak those words? Similarly, let's talk about the world of what's right and what's wrong. So the minute we start to see our words and we like the sentences, if they begin to get phrased like, he should have done this was the right thing to do, she should not have said that. The minute you use the word should, this was the right thing to do, you're wrong. These words immediately can demonstrate that you're playing the game of who's right and who's wrong. And while I'm describing this chair, I'd like you to see it happens to all of us. There's nothing right or wrong about this chair. I'm only sharing that this is the characteristic of this chair. And there may have been several times through the day that I may have been sitting on this chair. The question is, how soon are you catching yourself there? Going further, if this chair is starting to make a little connection in your head about, this does happen, let's jump to the next chair. The next chair is what I call as the self-doubt or the yellow or the hedgehog chair. Now, why the animal hedgehog? Because this is literally the red chair inverted inside. Just quite like the hedgehog animal is inverted in and you see this whole back of spines, it represents how much this is about self-bashing. All those conversations where we are limiting our own selves, all those conversations where we are saying, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, that was so stupid of me. What was I even thinking when I signed up for that? Etc., etc. So it's label time again, where we call ourselves stupid, or we call ourselves dumb, or we call ourselves as incapable, inconsistent, lazy, blah, blah, blah. All those labels now working inwards. And that represents your own relationship with yourself. It's essential to really catch these words here at the thought level. I keep saying that, catch it here at the thought level, because you'll then identify, because of what's happening here, my communication here gets influenced. You may not say to somebody that I'm stupid. Unfortunately, your behavior seems to reflect that in some way, that that's how you believe yourself to be. So thought level. If this is starting to make a little sense to you, I'd really like us to go to the green chair. The green chair, the weight chair, or the chair of the meerkat. Let's talk about this animal first. Very interesting. So this animal, if you ever get an opportunity to study it through any of these science channels, this animal has a beautiful characteristic of being able to stand in this erect position, literally in the middle of the grasslands. It'll go and stand in this erect position and keep looking far out into the distant for hours. It's like as if it is on sentinel duty. It's my job to observe, is literally the motto of this chair. It's my job to observe. And this animal can just continue to look into the distance and keep looking. And then after a while, it will turn its head in another direction and keep looking. And it can do this for hours, literally observing the present moment. What this chair enables you to do is to watch your thoughts. What this chair enables you to do is what we call in the world of communication attentive listening. Your ability to listen to the person in a way where you aren't extracting a deeper meaning out of it. You're only listening to the person and seeing that this is what the person said. That's it. The person did not necessarily blame, the person did not ridicule, the person did not show any anguish. This is what the person said. And that's the ability of the weight chair. When you come here, this chair is when you have the ability to transform the way you communicate. The real power to flip either to this side or to that side lies here. And as you practice this chair, your strength becomes so much that the turnaround time of you sitting in these chairs tremendously comes down. It's like you can catch yourself that, oh, I am blaming somebody. You can catch yourself, I'm blaming myself right now. And your ability to flip that conversation strengthens so much because you've practiced being in the green chair. That's the power. And when this practice keeps getting better, is when you catch yourself in the blue chair. The blue chair represented by the animal dolphin. I love this one. Why? Because nobody ever reported an angry dolphin. They're a beautiful example of how an animal can live its fullest self-expression, nothing inhibiting it. It being so intuitive about this is the need and this is what's going to get delivered. So talking about needs and talking about the realm of like giving the same metaphor in the realm of us humans. You know for a fact that your blue chair is strong when characteristically you can see that you are self-expressed. You're speaking clearly about whatever it is that you want to communicate. Please understand, I'm not saying you're speaking everything that's on your mind. The blue chair is signified by you're able to communicate everything that you want to communicate. You may notice these red chair or yellow chair thoughts hanging around, but you're not communicating that. You're going to communicate what you want to communicate because you realize that's what the situation needs, not what's happening in your head. These are the kind of people who you feel, oh, they're like the people who kind of walk in, have presence, they speak so clearly, they so articulate. All of these examples show up. But a much deeper aspect about this chair is, this is the chair where people don't have trouble saying no. This is the chair that even if people feel that they are getting troubled, they are still able to say a no. These are the people who have the ability to give feedback in a way that it is progressive and not something that makes them pull back into the red chair. So they give critical feedback as long as they know that this is going to essentially benefit the person and the other person takes that back. That's the beauty about this chair. Furthermore, I'd like to share, when you're on this chair, you are deeply clued into your own values. Now, values can sometimes be a very abused word. So let me give you a very little example. A friend of mine just yesterday, she's joined this course. So she's a major follower in Art of Living. And she regularly keeps doing courses with them. She signed up for a silence course. And when she signed up for a silence course, barely a few hours into that course, where literally people need to be in silence, barely a few hours into that, she got a call from her gynecologist because she was scheduled for an IVF appointment in a few days. Now, when she's scheduled for an IVF appointment, she needs to be available to the doctor. She had to make a choice over there. Do I stay in the silence course or do I get down to do that call? Very consciously, not out of desperation, very consciously, she chose to go out of the silence course and go take that call. Why? Because her values is developing a family system. In the worldly matters, we say priorities. She prioritizes having a family, which is why she's going and speaking to the IVF specialist and ensures that it all happens. But no, in that moment, She chose that this is my real value and that's where I want to go. So being able to make a very conscious choice and not feeling powerless, not feeling guilty. Even if the feeling of guilt comes, you're able to overcome it. That's the blue chair. Now what happens is by the time I come to this chair, all of you may be feeling, Mira, this is it. Let's make this happen. If this happens, that's it. Like work is done. This is the beautiful, glorified space to be in. This is the rock solid space. Get this to happen. So I want to tell you, if this looks as good as it does, you're going to totally love the purple chair. And that's the space I, as a personal mission, would want to take people to. What is the purple chair? Allow me to share that with you. Now, the purple chair is represented by the animal giraffe. Why the giraffe? Let me share that with you. Two simple characteristics. This is the only land animal that has literally the biggest size of a heart, literally the biggest size. And the second reason, this animal is the one with the longest neck. The biggest heart represents the amount of compassion this animal can demonstrate. And the long neck is the ability to really see far out. Hey, what could get created while this conversation is happening here? The ability to have a very far vision and say, whatever is happening here will have an impact on the future. So somebody may not be able to see that far, but this person in this chair is able to see the consequences much further than what's just happening here. In our language, we say, वो नाक के नीचे ही नहीं, बहुत आगे तक दिख रहा है. And that's the power of this chair. But let me take this down further. What do we mean by compassion? If the blue chair knew exactly that what do I need at any point in time and what is it that I am feeling at any point in time. Two things. The blue chair is always clear about, I'm talking about the blue chair. The blue chair is always clear about what am I feeling at any point in time and what do I need at any point in time. When I need clarity, I will speak and ask for clarity. When I need support, I will speak and ask for support. When I need strength, I will seek and ask for that from others. But the purple chair is when you can understand the other person's feeling and the other person's need, literally in a vocabulary. Like your understanding of people's feelings goes much beyond happy, sad, good, bad, upset. That's all that sometimes our vocabulary of feelings is stuck to. But the ability to be on this chair makes you go much deeper and say, the person here is feeling disappointed. The person here is feeling dissatisfied. The person here is feeling anxiety. The person here looks scared. The person here looks doubtful. When you can put a label to the feeling, and I encourage you to put a label to the feeling, when you can put a label to the feeling, you're able to identify what does this person need. And if in your conversation, in your communication, you're able to deliver on that person's need, wow, have you just created a relationship. Now, what I just shared with you is very theoretical in nature. Let's make some more power come into the same conversation. I'm going to stop sharing for a moment right here and just looking for everybody, giving a moment to look out for everybody. Give me a thumbs up if you guys are with me till now. Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you for all that. Now let's make this more interesting and get it down to the next level, because let's make it practical. Where does this apply in our lives on a daily basis? How do I know which chair am I sitting on? So the scene that I'm going to play out in front of you is going to be about how you could be in front of a set of clients that you have never met before, or the board members in your company who you don't meet as often. There hasn't been much space for you to necessarily create credibility in the room before. And now you have an opportune time to go present a plan, a proposal, a new idea, something of the sort to the clients. And there are 5 people in the room and you are presenting. And within 5 minutes, literally less than 5 minutes of you talking and presenting, one gentleman from among those 5 says, "This is nonsense. This is not going to work. It's useless to do this. Now, these three sentences, he said, this is nonsense, it's not going to work, this is useless. These three sentences can create a lot of havoc in a usual room. Let's see how would you be depending on the chair, given if that situation happens. So let me go back to the chair so that we can relate to it. I'm going back to the presentation. So back to the chairs. Considering the fact the man said this is nonsense, it's useless, it's not going to work, in that moment, usually there would be about 2 to 3 seconds of silence. And in that 2 to 3 seconds of silence, if you happen to be sitting on the red chair, the conversation in your head would be, who does he think he is? What a jerk. Didn't he ever learn simple etiquette and manners to speak with people? Who the hell does he think he is? Etc., etc. So the minute we put a label on somebody and put them into a box and say, and we literally discard them for their behavior, is an example of how we would be in the red chair. Now let's talk about the fun fact. The minute you're in this chair, and that's the kind of thought that's happening here, like how dare he, even if you don't say it, that thought has a direct impact on your tone and your body language. So to finally break the silence in the room, you might just suddenly stern up your body language, maybe put your hands on your hips, or maybe across your chest, and you'd say, yes, Mr. Mehta, I can see that you have something to say. And just that look and just that tone gives it away that you are totally not enjoying this, and there is an ego battle that's going to start off really soon. That's the impact of the red chair. You didn't say a word. You didn't speak what was on your mind, yet your body demonstrated it bang on. That's you identifying this is red chair. Now, you will, of course, know the further impact of it. So that's for us to see that do we want that impact? Another choice you have is that you could be sitting on the yellow chair. I'll skip to the yellow chair now. When you go to the yellow chair and somebody says, this is nonsense, this is not going to work, it's a waste of time. When in the yellow chair, you are somebody who naturally probably goes to the side of, oh my God, I'm doomed. Why was I even sent for this presentation? I wish they had just sent Shruti. This is, okay, we've lost it. That's it. This is not going to work right now. I really need to do this better, etc., etc. So the conversation here becomes extremely diminishing, and we're like lashing ourselves. Like "Tujhse nahi hoga" is our favorite dialogue. "मैं इस काबिल ही नहीं हूँ" is the other expression that comes out. It may not come out again in spoken words, but there's so much of drama happening at the thought level, and we're like entertaining it, totally entertaining it in our heads. And you know what the outcome is then on the face? The person mumbles out, literally mumbles out, uh, sorry, is there anything you want to say? A very muted voice, barely anything to hold you up. And somebody will keep saying, Are, be strong, be confident. That's the upar wala part. What about the thought level? So if we can't address what's happening at the thought level, anything that comes out of the mouth will be directly impacted by it. So this is what's happening at the red chair or the yellow chair level. Now let's see if we're looking to advance the way we are really communicating with the world. What is it that we can do to really absorb the green chair? And I'll take a moment to really read this, titled by Krishnamurti. The highest form of intelligence is the ability to observe ourselves without judging. Like, can we observe that we are having a thought and not judge ourselves for having that thought? Can we observe ourselves for a particular behavior and allow ourselves that space that, yes, I can see I did that? That's the highest form of intelligence. And I have read so much on this subject. It is spellbounding how courageous this work is. Going forward, now we walk into the green chair. Now, like I said, the green chair is all about waiting. So what do we mean by waiting? So imagine Mr. Mehta says, this is horrible, this is nonsense, this is not going to work. Now the ability for you to actually see what happened in the room, your ability to watch your thoughts, your ability to take a deep breath, probably have a smile on your face just so that you allow the tension to pass, your ability to pick up a glass of water, take a sip. You can call this anything of 5 seconds to maybe 30 seconds. But your ability to allow that space to be. The responses that come from the red or the yellow chair are often knee jerk reactions. But the ability to be in this chair and allow your sane self to let this moment be and not necessarily jump to rescue. That's what this chair offers. And I'd like to say, if you're being able to observe the thoughts in your head that could fall into either category, you're sitting in the green chair. You're no more in the red chair. You are in the red chair if you can't see that you're in the red chair. You are in the yellow chair if you can't see that you're in the yellow chair. But the minute you catch that you're actually in either of these chairs, hey buddy, you just came to the green chair. Now the fun part is that there are some of us who look at ourselves in this chair and we still want to go back to the red chair. You know why? Juice bada milta hai us chair mein. It is so much fun to prove people wrong. It is so much fun to like just say like I'm right and the other person's wrong. It is an amazing space to be. And that's what keeps us latched onto it. There's a lot of juice also to bash ourselves up. I'm speaking from experience. It's a lot of fun. And that's why we keep yo-yoing if you're trying to break this pattern at any point in time. So inviting you into this space of just exploring and looking, how long am I hanging in which chair and how soon do I want to settle and then finally move forward? So let's look at the blue chair. And if Mira said blue chair is about values and these feelings and these needs, so finally muh se kya bahar nikalta hai? Let's look at that. So this person says, from the blue chair, this person, Mr. Mehta says that, faltu, this is nonsense, it's not going to work. So somebody in the blue chair may catch himself judging the other person. What a jerk. But hey, that doesn't matter right now. What matters right now is that this person sees that this presentation is of value. Mr. Mehta, I can see that you have something to say, and I completely can understand that. May I seek only the next 10 minutes for me to show you that this could possibly shift the final outcome. 10 minutes. And I'm completely open to all questions and concerns you bring up. May I? So that ability to, without offending the person, stating, what am I needing right now? So in the blue chair, the person knew his need. His need was an opportunity. His need was a chance to share. And if he knows what his need is, then his or her ability to express it without offending the other person. That's what the blue chair offers to you. And if this is looking like a refined space, like we said, Mira blue chair pe aa gaye to kaam ho gaya. Now let's jump to the purple chair, because that's the the more fun space is what I call it, because now it's like, hey buddy, blue chair is already strong. You already know how to know your feelings, needs and emotions. But the purple chair is when you can catch, Mr. Mehta's feelings and Mr. Mehta's emotions. And what does Mr. Mehta probably need? So I'm going to stop right here, and I'd love to see some interaction and some participation if I could see some. You guys have seen through a journey of those 5 chairs in a typical situation where Mr. Mehta said, this is nonsense, this is not going to work. You saw a response from every chair. Now my question to you is, what do you think Mr. Mehta is feeling? And what do you think Mr. Mehta needs? Anybody?
So I think he might be in the red chair.
Okay, I would love to know your name. I'm speaking to
Priya.
Priya. Hi, thank you. So Priya, you're saying that, Priya, could you repeat yourself again, please? Priya, if you're speaking, you're probably on mute because I can't hear you.
So I am seeing that Mr. Mehta is probably in the red chair.
Got it. Now, Priya, the fact that right now, you said Mr. Mehta is probably in the red chair. When you are saying that, which chair are you operating from?
Purple chair.
Are you?
I'm thinking about what he is feeling rather than blaming him. So
Beautiful. I got that. So if I'm saying that, can you tell me what he's feeling? I didn't hear a feeling word. Instead, I heard him being boxed into a chair. Are you getting what I'm saying, Priya?
yeah.
Thanks, thanks. I'm glad you're connecting. So let me try this again with you, Priya. If we were to just speak of a few emotions, happy, sad, upset, where do you think Mr. Mehta is? What feeling would you put to him?
So I wouldn't call him upset. I would say that he would be kind of angry, or maybe he didn't like some part of it. So,
Anger ले लेते हैं.
huh.
ठीक ठीक लगा लेते हैं. Anger. Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's good.
Thank you, Priya. Super. Thank you for participating with me on this. Now we're talking about the word anger here. Now, if Mr. Mehta is angry, I'm glad that you're starting to look at it that way. Let me allow you to take that feeling to a much deeper level. The minute we see anger on somebody, we can sometimes when it's very ferocious or it has a lot of intensity, we call it anger. When it has slightly lesser intensity, we call it being upset. That's the usual terminology we use in our expressions in the world. But the minute you can go further, you'll see anger is really just a surface level. There is a lot of drama happening in the background. And when I say drama, I mean to say there's a flurry of emotions happening in the background. If we can have the sensitivity to see that the emotion there is of deep disappointment, he says, this is not going to work, this is useless. Can you see the amount of pain in the conversation? Can you see that this person has probably been through many such experiences, as now has finally like given up, is like, it's not gonna work. It's what I call sensing the person's disappointment in how things have been. Now this is me asking you, and let's reach out to others, and let's ask others in the group. If we, yes, Akash, I can see you raising your hand. Yes.
Hi, I'm Mira. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Akash. How are you?
It's a wonderful things which you are, bringing on to the discussion.
Thank you.
I really appreciate whatever things you have, brought till now. The thing is, it is more of an experience and the knowledge base the person is having in that particular boardroom. And I would say if the person is more prepared, the sense of anger will go down and the person will shift to maybe a more calm person. When you are not prepared, then you tend to lose the temper.
Okay.
You tend to try to defend yourself.
Yeah.
At the times when you are super prepared with your knowledge, with your numbers, with your stats, everything, then these kind of things does not matter at all to anyone.
Sure.
And in a way, then you shift it towards even to the blue and a purple level, where you can create a connect
Yes.
with the audience. I will say it will not only the emotions of the person, but also what you have been preparing for that particular meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. Akash, while you're speaking, what I'm listening to is, did you, when you were speaking that the anger that comes up, were you speaking from Mr. Mehta's point of view, or were you speaking from the speaker's point of view? Like, whose anger were you talking about?
So
Like the
I'm
possible.
saying in terms of response of the person who's listening. So I would say here who has to respond to the anger of the person.
Okay, so the one who has to respond to the anger of the person.
Right.
And you're saying, Akash, that when when we are so prepared, when we have done our complete knowledge and we've
Homework.
done our
Yeah.
exercise, then no matter how angry the person is, I'm not
Correct.
going to be impacted by it.
Correct.
Akash, that's really powerful. That's the blue chair talking. Yeah, that's the blue chair talking, and that's fantastic. I'm still going to push you a little because that's my purpose.
Just
I'm going
fine.
to push you a little more to the purple chair and and really make you think. While you're standing as the speaker in the room, and Mr. Mehta shows his disappointment about rubbish, this is not going to work. I've seen enough of this, it's not going to work. When we have identified disappointment, my question is, do you know what Mr. Mehta needs? What is his need that he's even saying what he's saying?
That is how a mature and a prepared person will try to ask more open-ended questions.
We'll come to the action second, Akash. We'll come to the action later. But I'm asking, at a thought level, can you identify what is his need? Why, if he's so disappointed, what did he not get that he's disappointed now? What was his need?
I think
Hey,
anyone
hi.
can, somebody wants to.
Sure, thank you. Please, who'd like to try?
I thought you just do first. I'll speak on later.
Sorry, who was that? Sakshi?
Yeah, it's me, Sakshi. Actually, what I observe the person who's sitting on the person, Mr. Mehta, right? So he's just angry or he's not satisfied. Maybe just because of his own experiences
Perfect.
in the life. It might be in any field.
Yeah.
And the person who has come to those people and shown the presentation or just giving some ideas, but the other person is not satisfied. So it might be something wrong with the Mr. Mehta.
Okay, again, Sakshi, I know you're trying to analyze the situation and I'm going to hold you right there. Sakshi, the minute we even phrase the thought in our head that there is something wrong with Mr. Mehta, where did we bucket him? Which chair are you communicating from?
So I'm just sitting on the purple chair only. I'm just trying to understand the feeling of the other person.
Very nice. So, which is why I'm pulling you into the conversation. And allow me, I know a lot of us are getting involved in the conversation, but allow me to now tell you, Sakshi, the minute you use the word, even at a thought level, there's something wrong with Mr. Mehta. Even if you are backing it up with, he's had experiences, it's been a difficult time for him. But the minute you say there's something wrong with Mr. Mehta, you are stopping your discovery about what is he really feeling. And like I said, the ability for you to spot that he's feeling disappointed takes you further 2 levels down to understand he needs progress. He needs results. He needs action. Had this been given, would he not be disappointed? If the speaker in the room can identify, dude, his need is results. Can I tap into that right now? Literally, जैसे नस पकड़ते हैं ना. Can I tap into that right now and use it in my conversation because the purple chair conversation is going to be something like this. So Mr. Samehta says, this is useless. It's not going to work. A waste of time. This is how Mr. Mehta responds. And then this is how the speaker responds. He says, the speaker takes a break, allows the 5-second gap, and he says, Mr. Mehta, I'm going to put my presentation aside because I can sense that you have experienced some disappointment from something in the past. And I can see that your need of progress hasn't been delivered. Can you tell me what happened that you are feeling the way you are?
Yeah, absolutely right.
Is that helping you, Sakshi?
Yeah, actually, I'm a wellness coach.
Fantastic.
So I just deal with my clients. So the people, many times I just talk to them and they just pretend. They don't talk what is actually like they people are facing.
Yeah.
So I need to read their mind and I need to just get the things in the conversation that what is wrong with them. Is there something wrong they are not able to discuss with me? So people are not like, they are not able to share each and everything with everyone.
Right.
So they might have tried many things, but they are not getting results.
Right.
So the first thing is communication.
Beautiful. I'm so glad you said that, Sakshi. Sakshi, can I coach you for just a minute more?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the space that you're giving me. Even when you are finally in the space of detecting for your clients that what is it that you can help in them improve on, could you be in an inquiry that says, what's missing? What's missing, the presence of which, if it came, would make a difference to this person? What's missing? Instead of what's wrong. When we only just shift these words from what's wrong to what's missing, so that you bring that missing or you make that person aware of what's missing. What could be missing is awareness, what could be missing is love, what could be missing is respect, what could be missing is a different point of view. But what's missing, that if it came in, would make a significant difference to the situation versus what's wrong. Because what's wrong can be very repelling. And people don't want to discover what's wrong. They label it at what's wrong and they don't want to see the murk inside. An invitation. You may not be using it directly with your clients, but even if in your own thought, you could say, how can I find what's missing? You just created an alchemist out of your own self.
Yeah,
Did that help?
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sakshi, for allowing me to share this and sharing your experience with your clients. Thank you.
And thank you for correcting me as well.
I only shared a point of view. There is no right or wrong. There is no correctness ever. I'm only sharing a point of view that could make a difference and progress the conversation. Yeah. Excellent. So we're at 6:49 and I am now opening the floor to questions, conversations, anything that you'd like to ask about this space, anything that intrigues you, all together for you.
I think Akash sir might want to share or continue his perspective that you were talking about.
Could you say that again, please?
Yeah. So Akash sir might want to continue their perspective, like they were actually talking about.
Akash, Akash was sharing something.
Yeah.
Yes. Akash, would you like to share anything further? I know we had gone to Sakshi at that time, but
So, sorry.
that's fine. Yes.
So, in fact, I think I've been into some sort of a situational all these years. Even I've been working in J&J for quite some time.
Oh, lovely.
And I had a background, very similar background of what yours is. But what I always felt in the conversations is that sometimes when you are underprepared, it always, land you into those troubles.
True.
It is always good to take some more time than to, get into a situation where you get these kind of environment.
True, absolutely.
And bashing from the board members or any other people, leadership team.
Yeah.
It is better to take one more day, 2 more days, prepare yourself well, then the conversation will be more of a connect level rather than just, throwing up the words to each other and not connecting to each other. So that is, I actually want to say that probably these are some sort of examples where people, why they get trapped into the conversational issues is also because of this.
True. I got that. Thank you for sharing that, Akash. Beautiful perspective. Yes, the more you prepare, the more equipped you are. The more equipped you are, the more confidence you have. And your ability to shield yourself from any such opinions and judgments becomes so much stronger. Yeah, right, great. Thank you. Awesome. Anybody else?
Hi, Mira. This is Vaishali.
Hi, Vaishali.
I follow you on LinkedIn, Mira, and all your videos are worth watching, and it has actually enhancing my communication skill also.
Thank you.
So, Mira, what happens is at times, when we are having a conversation, despite being congruent, despite being, or offering unconditional positive regard, or, giving a patient listening, I have observed that at times, for certain people, the conversation gets into a little difficult mode, or it started becoming difficult. So what are your suggestions how to deal with such situation? Because I always want to have a win-win situation, but at times I struggle. So what are your suggestions? How should we come up with such or overcome such difficult conversations?
Got it. Beautiful. I'm so glad you asked that, Vaishali.
Thank you.
Well, when we're talking about difficult conversations, if we can go back to this tool that I just gave you, literally like keeping an idea of where your thoughts are, what will be beautiful for you, for me, for you to understand, to answer is, what happens that you label the conversation as difficult? That's one. Because it's not important that you labeled it as difficult. What's important is that what happened that you put a label either on the person or on the situation in that moment. If you're calling the conversation difficult, I could still understand. It could be coming because you care about the person and you want to make sure that the other person doesn't get offended.
Yeah.
Right? That's the reason it's a difficult conversation. It could be your partner, it could be your sibling, it could be your parents, it could be your manager at work, and you realize that this is a difficult conversation. As long as can you identify in that situation, did you accidentally put the label of difficult not just on the conversation but probably the person as well?
Maybe. I'll be honest.
And Vaishali, that act of discovering that I'm looking at this person as a wall of stone, or I'm looking at this person as DEET, some label that I have put right there. And for a moment, can I replace the conversation of the label on that person to, I wonder what that person is feeling right now, and what could the person's need be? आप need तक भी मत पहुंचो, time लग रहा है, that's fine. But if you can identify that what is this person feeling right now, you have the ability to immediately drop the tension in the room when you immediately say, you know, when you said that, I can sense your disappointment. Or, you know, when you said that, I can sense how hurt you are. We don't have to say, I'm sorry, I hurt you. We don't have to say that. Yet, can we at least identify the feeling for them and say it back to them? When we say people's feelings back to them, they get it. And that so-called wall that we created out of that person now suddenly begins to crumble or melt or whatever metaphor works for you. So my first invitation to you is, can you begin to catch yourself? Did I put a label right now? If I didn't put a label, fantastic. So can I label the feeling right now? Can you switch the conversation from a label to a feeling? I hope that helps, Vaishali.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your insights.
Thank you. Thank you for asking.
I have one question. My name is Vivek.
Hey, Vivek. Yes.
When you tell someone that I see you are disappointed, kind of this language may not got offended, because we saw in the corporate culture when we say like them that you are disappointed or you when we are saying you, that is very difficult situation we are putting ourselves in.
So Vivek, with what you just said, it is so bang on, and I'm glad you asked this question. Notice the difference in the phrase. You are disappointed versus I sense you are disappointed. You are angry versus I can sense your anger. You are upset versus I can feel that you may be upset. So when you know that you want to communicate the feeling without throwing it at that person, you will choose words like I sense, I feel, are you, like, are you disappointed? I feel you're disappointed. I can sense you're disappointed versus you're disappointed. Is that helpful for you, Vivek? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome.
So I have one question. What if you identify that this person does it too often? So even if you're not trying to get into the red chair, you somehow get into that zone because you are trying to really understand. And if this becomes, if this goes on in a loop, then it is a difficult situation to be in the purple chair.
I agree with you, Priya. I empathize with you. I sense that how tiring and exhausting and the amount of effort it is to sit on the purple chair. I'm with you on that. Yeah. What's your question, Priya?
What I want to know is, can a person be in the purple chair all the time?
सुना है सदगुरु रहते हैं वहां पे काफी देर. What a lovely question, Priya. I wish I could say I am all the time. I'm not, and it takes a lot of strength to be on that chair. Maybe the question I'd like to leave you with, or the feeling or the experience I'd like to leave you with is, sometimes we have fun with our friends gossiping about somebody. And then we also learn the fact that gossiping isn't the appropriate energy to be dealing with. It's not something that creates good karma, or it's not the kind of work that would cause a bigger outcome. And yet we sometimes dwell in it. As long as we are conscious of it, that I am consciously sitting on the red chair, sitting on the red chair may not be such a dangerous place to be, as long as you're conscious of it. You're conscious of it कि भाई अपन gossip कर रहे हैं ना, इसका कुछ तो impact हो सकता है. So that time I'm not in the purple chair. I am in the red chair. The only difference is I am aware of it that I'm in the red chair. So Priya, what a major takeaway that I'd like you to take is, your job is not to be in the purple chair all day. Your job is to be aware, where are you, and do you choose to be there that time?
Thank you. That's really insightful.
One comment related to this, I think let us not demean red chair versus the purple chair.
Exactly.
Situational, and sometimes red chair is good for you also.
Situationally, yeah. Allow to see if it produces the impact that you want, and it works for you. Your consequences work for you. By all means, as long as you're aware that you're doing it consciously. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, Akash. Appreciate it.
So yes, ma'am, I would like to take the last question of this meeting today. So I would like to know this impact communication from the perspective of being a leader in an organization. So let me give you a quick little background of who I am. I've been working in the sales and marketing industry for quite good amount of 3 years now. And, I have experienced all these 5 chairs in my journey so far. Because being a rookie salesperson who starts out, when the objection comes, he's in the red chair and tries to tackle that. But now, shifting the way you communicate, being in the purple chair right now, how you can actually understand what the person really needs when he's not even speaking about it. You try to answer, you try to ask questions as much as you can, you try to dig deeper in the need. On the surface level, he's saying something else. On a deeper level, he's actually trying to, mean something else. So how you actually differentiate, or how you actually diagnose that kind of a problem, that what is happening over a surface level and what is happening at a deeper level, and what kind of an outcome you can actually take from that conversation?
I wish I could give you this one little action to do, just meet, and that could be your jadoo ki chhadi, and I wish that would work for a long, long time. Just meet, it certainly takes a lot of conscious practice. The ability to listen to somebody's statement, and when somebody says, this is horrible, can't somebody do their job right? When somebody says a statement like that in a room, each one will have a different point of view about that statement. Somebody may think, oh Lord, he's angry again. Label. Somebody may think, that's it, the meeting's gone for a 6. Label. Somebody may think, aaj to meri bach gayi. Label. So these are conversations that may show up. But if you can be in the awareness that this person just said, this is horrible, this is not going to work, or something like that, or this is like, why can't I get better work than this? Like, this is no way of doing work, or something judgmental that we would normally call. If somebody said that, in that moment, could you immediately practice and say, oh, I just went into the red chair with this guy, let me come back. I wonder what he's feeling right now. Is he feeling disappointed, or is he probably envious? Is he feeling insecure in some way? And not as a label of ye insecure hai, like how we have fun, ye insecure hai, but just really seeing like, something in where he is probably leaving him a little insecure. And I wonder what he needs. Imagine if you can catch somebody's insecurity, and in that moment you could turn around and tell that person, is there any support that I can offer you? I can sense that you're probably feeling alone right now, and you can probably feel that there isn't enough support for you. What would you like me to do that could enable at least a part support to you? This is an example of us learning the other person's feeling and need. तो वो superficial से deep level पे जाने के लिए practice is पहले अपना label catch कर लो कि मैं इस पे अभी कौन सा label लगा रहा हूँ. If you can catch the label, then it's fun to say, oh, okay, let's think in my head. What does he feel? What is he needing? And if you're not sure what is he feeling and what is he needing, it's perfectly okay to say, are you feeling anxious right now? Are you feeling uncertain right now? Is this what you need right now? It's okay to confirm. Does not mean you have to give the need. Please understand this. किसी की need पता करके ये कोई obligatory नहीं है कि आपको उसकी need देनी ही देनी है. हम कभी-कभी उस चक्कर में पूछते ही नहीं है कि भाई हम फंस जाएंगे, हमें देना पड़ेगा. So that's a different conversation altogether, that we don't have to give the other person his need, but it is beautiful if you can discover it, because if you can discover it, you have a key to either give the need or find a way that he gets his need. But you are under no obligation that you need to fulfill the other person's need. Are you guys with me?
Absolutely. But in an organization, when the person is working with you and you're totally relied upon that, because he's been in the organization for a good amount of years, and the conversation was better in the starting, in the initial phase, but somehow now you feel that this person is hiding something. You empathize with him, you agree with him, like, hey, this is what you need, I'll be more than happy to provide you with that. You need more training, I'll provide you with that. You need more resources, I'll provide you that. You are actually seeing that this person is having a conversation with you directly, bang on, he's good at it. You are seeing his experience, his quality of work that he's producing in front of you is good. But when he is going out in the field, when he's reaching out to the clients, you're not getting the results over there. Again, you are just caught up in this vicious circle that what to do now.
So what I'm listening to, Jasmeet, is that your need is results, and right now there's an experience of frustration because you have given so much to this person and you're not getting results from that person. Is
Right.
that what it is?
Right.
Right. Beautiful, beautiful. I'm so glad. Jasmeet, now the conversation shifts to another realm. Now it's about you not identifying what is he feeling and what is his need. This is now you identifying what are you feeling and what is your need. If you have now identified that I have given so much to this relationship or to this conversation, and now I'm starting to reach a point of frustration, that's you. If you're sitting in the blue chair, you will be able to catch that you're feeling frustrated. If when you're sitting in the blue chair, you'll be able to catch, bhai, meri need na progress hai. My need is result. Result la ke do, phir baat karenge. So if you can catch this, then the ability to speak from the blue chair and say, could you tell me what happened? What happened that we didn't get the results we were looking for? And then the person spins probably a story, or the person says, sir, मैं बीमार था, sir, ये था, sir, time खराब है, तो मुझे time खराब है, अभी मत बता. Can you please tell me what happened? Now, this is something that I share with my participants very explicitly. They go through a full classroom and several exercises to understand how do they separate between an opinion and an observation. Saying कि time खराब है is an opinion, but the observation is आपने सिर्फ 4 calls किए. Saying clients respond नहीं कर रहे हैं is an opinion. आपने कितने लोगों को call किया is the real data. So can the conversations be focused on observations? Where were you? What is your plan? How many will you be reaching out to? What if you don't reach out? Is there a plan of communicating to me? What do you intend to do when this does not happen? If the result is not achieved, what is at stake for you? When we ask questions like this, we are sitting in the blue chair. And now we're literally talking from, bhai, meri need hai or meri need hai result. If my need is result, I'm going to request for exactly that. But we can't just be saying, I want result, I want result, I want result. That's not going to bring results. We've got to ask questions that are bringing objective answers from the person. Did that help you, Jasmeet?
Absolutely. I think I'll be using this strategy and see how this works out. You know,
Yeah, grateful. I'm so glad.
one thing that I learned from this conversation was it's not just about you being sitting in purple chair and always analyzing the other person's needs. Sometimes you need to put your interest in front of the other person's interest, because you have put so much in that, and at the end, every single person needs satisfaction within himself, and you cannot get that satisfaction just by satisfying the other person's needs.
Thank you for getting that. Yes, your needs first, your mask first, then the other person's mask. Yes.
I have one more question. If I am the audience and I am expecting something from the speaker,
Yeah.
I observing it like I'm not going to get that result or not going to get that objective what I'm looking for. In that case, what, and as an audience, what can I do? I know what I want. I know that what that particular point not going to be delivered. So in that case, what can I do as an audience?
Vivek, I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question. Could you say that again?
It's like, uh, let me put like I am the boss and I'm expecting something from my junior. He is presenting some meeting, a PPT, and I'm expecting something, some outcome, some objective. That's why I'm sitting here. I'm looking for something, but I'm not getting it. So in that case, what as an audience, what can I do? I just have to just sitting or listening to the speaker or.
Beautiful. Vivek, I'm glad that you're saying it. And that's how a lot of organizations end up unknowingly wasting time in presentations, whereas outcome kuch aur chahiye, lekin ho kuch aur raha hai. And when the outcome does not meet what is happening here, there's a lot of frustration in the room. Unfortunately, what happens is it doesn't get communicated. Maximum to the maximum, the audience ends up communicating, "Arey faltu ka tha, अरे कुछ निकल के नहीं आया." These are opinions. फालतू का था, कुछ निकल के नहीं आया. These are opinions. The hard question is, buddy, you have shared 4 points with me in this presentation. I can see these 4 points. Could you tell me how do I use these 4 points for the outcome I'm looking for? Suppose the outcome that you're looking for is a new strategy to enter new markets. If that is the outcome you're looking for. With these 4 points that you have shared, how does this connect to this? Can you please tell me? तो ये क्वेश्चन पूछने की क्षमता तब होती है जब आप अपनी नीड को आइडेंटिफाई कर लेते हो. And our ability to identify our needs also happens when we give up putting labels on the other person. When we are so putting labels on the other person, इससे नहीं होगा, ये तो फालतू है, ये तो time waste है, we miss to read our own need. So instead could we focus on मुझे ना अभी इस मीटिंग से ना ये निकाल के जाना है. And if I'm very clear, this is what I want, I'm going to make sure that I get this out. Whether I'm the person who's supposed to be hearing the presentation, or I could be somebody who's only present in that room. But I'm putting my time invested there. Can I make sure that I get what I came for? Or at least have the audacity or the courage to ask for it. Thank you to Vaishali. She said that she's following me on LinkedIn. I would encourage you guys to go to my YouTube channel. There are a couple of videos that I have made, and one particularly says, ask for what you want. We rarely state a request. We give our opinion saying, "Mera kaam nahi hua, I'm not satisfied." But we didn't ask for what we wanted. Right? So the ability to articulate that is what will drive that presentation and maybe that person's future presentations also. I hope that was satisfactory, Vivek. Thank you. Thank you. Jasmeet, I'm scheduled for something literally at 7:15. Is it fine if we can close the session now?
Absolutely, ma'am. I totally understand that. So I would highly encourage you guys. I'll drop in the link in the comment section to go check out Mira Swarup ma'am's LinkedIn profile and the YouTube profile, and you can connect with her for more such queries. Would that be okay with you, ma'am?
Absolutely. Happy to hear. That's a lot more fodder for me to create something with. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being here in our North Spark Toastmasters Club community. I wouldn't say community, I would say family now, because here we learn together. We are believers, we are a team of dreamers, and we are a team of action takers most of all, because, this all learning would totally go to waste if we are not implementing that in our day-to-day life, right? So make sure to take notes, and this recording will also be saved in the Facebook Live group as an asset. that people can actually go back to this recording and see how they can actually shift the way they communicate.
Thank
So
you.
much, ma'am, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jasmeet.
Okay.
I
So
appreciate it.
let's have a group selfie for that. If
Sure.
it's okay, everyone can please show their lovely faces, turn on their videos, and let's just have a quick short snap. Thank you so much. I would encourage Mandita, Sakshi Jain, Tarun Bhadwaj, Ashok Kumar to show your faces if it is possible right now.
Are we good?
Absolutely, we are good. Totally. Thank you so
We
much,
were,
ma'am.
we were kind of like holding our smiles, like now.
True.
It generally happens in Zoom meetings.
Thank
Yeah,
you
I was
so
like-
much,
I
Mira.
was hoping he would show. I was hoping he would do that. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. It was amazing to be here.
Thank
All the
you.
best.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Vivek, are you there? Vivek, can you hear me?